Welcome back to AI Verdict, where we deliver the final judgment on the technology shaping our future. So let me ask you, do you think using AI is just copying and pasting answers from a chatbot into a travel website? Because if you do, I've got news for you. You are already living in the past. While we're all still manually clicking buttons, leaked Google documents on Gemini 4 reveal an AI that books your flight, your hotel, and your dinner reservation, all while you're asleep. Today, we're going to dig into the roadmap, the hardware, and the new rules that are about to take AI from just thinking to actually doing.
So let's just put this into perspective. On the left, that's our world right now. AI is a research assistant. It finds stuff, but then you have to do all the work, the copying, the pasting, the clicking. But on the right, that's where we're going. Gemini 4 isn't an assistant, it's an agent. You don't give it a task, you give it an outcome. Book my trip, and it just does it. This is a fundamental shift, folks. It's the difference between prompting a tool and directing a team.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the impressive but limited AI we have today. Then, the tech that finally lets it act. We'll get into the agent economy, how you can actually trust an AI with your money. After that, the insane hardware making it possible. And finally, we'll zoom out to see how the great AI race of 2026 is shaping up.
To really get why Gemini 4 is such a massive leap, you first have to understand what came right before it. And that was Gemini 3, which, laid a pretty incredible foundation back in late 2025.
And look, don't get me wrong, this thing was an absolute beast. It had a deep think mode where it could actually pause and chew on really complex problems. It had a 1 million token context window. That's like feeding it an entire series of novels. And yeah, it was fully multimodal, so it could understand text, images, and audio all at once.
And if you need proof of its raw intelligence, this is it. A 41% score on a benchmark called Humanity's Last Exam. Now that might not sound great, but this test is designed to be nearly impossible. Even for human experts, it's true PhD-level reasoning. So no doubt Gemini 3 was a brilliant thinker.
But, and this is the huge but, it had a fatal flaw. For all that brain power, it was essentially a brain in a jar. It was reactive. It just sat in a chat box waiting for your next command. It could give you the perfect plan for a vacation, but you still had to go open all the tabs and click all the buttons. It was all thought, no action. A thinker, not a doer.
So, how do you get the brain out of the jar? How do you bridge that massive gap between thinking and doing? Well, Gemini 4 introduces a whole stack of new technologies designed to give its powerful brain eyes, ears, and, most importantly, hands.
It all starts with a new way of thinking called parallel hypothesis exploration. Sounds complex, but it's pretty simple. Imagine asking an old AI to debug code. It would try one fix, see if it works, fail, try another. Super slow. Gemini 4, though, is like a whole team of developers. It explores and tests 5 or 10 fixes all at the exact same time, verifies which one works, and just hands you the solution. It's proactive, not just responsive.
Okay, but to act in the world, an AI first has to perceive it. That's Project Astra. Think of it as giving Gemini 4 actual senses. It uses your phone's camera and mic to see and hear in real time. So if you lose your glasses, you don't describe them. You just pan your camera around the room, and Astra says, hey, they're over there, behind the laptop. And crucially, it has memory. It remembers the layout of your office from Monday to Friday. It remembers faces. So the AI has senses. The next step, give it hands. That's Project Mariner. This is the doer. It's a web agent that goes out and executes tasks for you. And it doesn't even run on your computer. It runs in the cloud. This means you can tell it to book that whole trip to Tokyo, close your laptop, and it keeps working, handling up to 10 complex tasks at once. And for security, it all happens in a sandbox, which means it's totally walled off from your personal file.
Of course, all this leads to the elephant in the room. Are you really going to give an AI your credit card number and just let it go? This is the biggest hurdle to an agent-driven world, and to solve it, Google had to build a whole new set of rules for how money moves around.
They're calling it the Agent Payments Protocol, or AP2. It's basically a 3-step cryptographic handshake. First, you set the rules, an intent mandate, like buy me tickets but stay under $150. Then the agent comes back with a specific plan, a cart mandate for your approval. And only after you say yes does it generate the final payment mandate to actually complete the purchase. Every single step is secure and verifiable.
And the results? They're pretty compelling.
In Google's internal tests, this protocol cut transaction fraud from around 2% down to just over 1%. I mean, think about that. It basically cut the fraud rate in half, creating a system that could be even more secure than how a lot of us shop online right now.
But here's where it gets really futuristic. This protocol enables an agent-to-agent, or A2A ecosystem. So, your personal travel agent could literally negotiate directly with a hotel's booking agent to get you a better room, all while you're at work. That's this unified AI fabric they're talking about, a world where our AIs are handling the logistics for us completely in the background.
Now, as you can probably guess, all of this real-time agent activity doesn't run on your MacBook Air. To power this new economy, you need a new generation of custom chips and a totally new way for developers to even think about building software. Meet Ironwood. This is Google's 7th-generation TPU, a custom chip designed specifically for one thing: running AI models at lightning speed. To give you a sense of its power, a single one of these Ironwood pods is roughly 24 times more powerful than the current #1 supercomputer on the planet. This is the engine that will allow millions of AI agents to operate for all of us, all at once, in real time.
And that new power leads to a new job for developers. On a platform called Anti-Gravity, the role isn't about writing code line by line anymore. It's about becoming an orchestrator. You're basically the manager of a team of AI agents that are writing, testing, and debugging code for you. You set the high-level goals, and they handle the execution. So with the brain, the senses, the hands, and the engine all in place, when does this future actually get here? And what does the competition look like in this wild new landscape? The timeline is aggressive. We're expecting a developer preview maybe as early as Google I/O in May 2026. The full public release is slated for late 2026, and at that point, it's expected to completely replace Google Assistant on Android, turning it from a simple helper into a powerful agent. What's really interesting is how the market seems to be splitting into 3 different lanes. You've got OpenAI with GPT-6 focusing on deep, abstract reasoning, the philosopher AI. You have Anthropic's Claude doubling down on safety and compliance, the corporate AI. And then you have Google positioning Gemini 4 as the action-oriented model, the one that doesn't just tell you what to do, it does it for you.
So if we boil all this down to one critical takeaway, it's this. For the last few years, the key AI skill has been prompting, learning how to ask the right questions. That era is definitively coming to an end. The new skill, the one that will matter most, is orchestration, the ability to set high-level goals and manage your team of AI agents to get it done. This isn't just an incremental update. It's a fundamental change in our relationship with technology. It's the difference between having a tool and having a team. So the only real question left is, are you ready to stop prompting and start orchestrating?